Welcome to Love to See It, a podcast about the aftermath of Perfect Match Season 3, as told by Rachel Recchia.
Today we have part 2 of our chat with Rachel. If you missed part 1, go back into the Love to See It feed and check that out. It came out on Wednesday.
We are so excited to get into the rest of our interview, although we will be honest, Rachel is pretty coy about the current drama and anything that's happened since the show. I know she doesn't want to speak too much to what other people's stories are and what their experiences are. And in some cases, her own experiences. We all know it's important to keep some things to ourselves.
We
Um,
respect boundaries, even if we tried to push them a little bit.
yeah, but we had a lot of fun talking about the finale and some of the aftermath and what's going on with her today. Also, before we get into it, a quick reminder that we are covering Love is Blind UK Season 2 over on Rich Text. You can find those episodes at claireandemma.substack.com if your spleen is guiding you to consume more content about this
Mine
season.
is. Mine
Absolutely
truly,
is.
truly is. And now, part 2 of our interview with Rachel Recchia. Rachel, welcome back to Love to See It. We are now able to spill all the tea. Let's talk about the finale and everything that has happened since. I am so
Yes, I
excited.
cannot wait to tell you guys everything.
You've kept this under your hat for so long. It's actually wild to think about having to keep this all in
A
for
year.
a full
It's been
year.
crazy.
Yeah, I can't even
There have
imagine. I'm
been
not that good at
multiple
keeping secrets.
pregnancies within your
No,
cast.
literally. I'm like, we're literally going to have
Yeah.
Perfect Match season 26, like babies right now. Like, it's crazy that everyone's life is like just so different now.
I know. It's what, like, the first season of Perfect Match, it was almost like there was no result from it at all. This is kind of the first time that it feels like it's really made a romantic impact, and
Well,
it's not holding back now that it's here.
I mean, I feel like, as you alluded to in the first part of our interview, the casting was just absolutely stellar this
I don't
season.
think-
Way
yeah.
better than it has been
I
before.
could not have sat there and picked out a better cast. Like, not even because I was on it. Like, the thought that went behind that, like, just, they deserve an Emmy for it. Honestly, it was so great.
I agree. So let's talk about the finale before we get into all the post-show
Mhm.
tea.
No, I think people saw a conversation between me and Lucy before I rematched, and I was like, I just want someone, like to have fun with it. We're so close to the end. Like, who can I spend this time with to like have a good time for the rest of the time? Because when this is happening, I'm like, it's gonna be AD and Ollie. Like, there is no other winner. So we were just there for a good time, and we were having a good time for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta stay in
Mhm.
it, even if you know it's a long shot, you still gotta go
Yeah.
for it. Were you shocked by that final compatibility challenge or the night when the votes were going to happen? Like, we have never seen that on Perfect Match before.
I know, but honestly, I kind of liked it because Perfect Match, and I think Netflix in general, I can't speak for Netflix, but their production style is a lot more hands off. So everything that is like done by the cast is usually because the cast wants to do it. So I think there is a majority vote outside of the house, and they didn't want another situation from last season happening. And because they can't interfere with the vote, that was a way to like make sure that didn't happen, which I agree with. Like, I don't think me and Ray deserved to win. I didn't know if like they would have voted for Ray because they spent so much time with him outside the house. So I think in a way, it's kind of like making sure that the couple who deserves to be in the finals is there.
That actually makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense. I think the one thing I was sad about is that it meant that we didn't get Freddie and
I
Madison
know.
in that final
I would
vote.
have liked to see Freddie, Madison, and AD and Holly, and I think that would have been like the most fair.
I agree.
Yeah, whatever thing you devise to create that cutoff, you don't actually know for sure that your longest standing and
Mhm.
strongest couples will be the ones who clear that bar, but yeah, probably not the couple that formed like yesterday.
Right.
either.
Literally.
Oh, I actually had forgotten what a disaster that finale was last time.
I was
so, yeah,
disappointed.
We
That
like
makes
blocked it out. It was a terrible season. That season was just like full of women suffering at the hands of
I
mediocre men.
know.
So I've blocked
That
it.
was so crazy. I remember watching that, and I'm like, that is the most disappointing thing. I can't believe I watched a full season for that. So I think they knew they didn't want that to happen again. And that was an easy way to do
Yeah,
it.
no,
Yeah.
it was smart. It ultimately was a smart thing that they did. Um, as we know, Lucy and Daniel ultimately end up
Mhm.
winning, which I was shocked. I thought it was going to be AD
Me
and
too.
Ollie. Who did you
I
vote
voted for AD
for?
and Ollie. And Lucy, I think, would have voted
Mhm.
for AD and Ollie at that point. Like, I don't know if Lucy at that point even thought they were like strong enough to go on that vacation. So everyone in the house voted AD and Ollie, but I understand also like why a lot of people disagreed with them as a couple, just because of like they were all very close with Justine, and Justine didn't want to see AD
Hmm,
like in any sort of pain. And so I think maybe
Mhm.
that's like where a lot of the vote came from, was out of the house.
that actually
Yeah.
makes
It's
sense.
interesting because like they're both long-standing couples, but they both had very like high profile incidents where like jealousy
Mhm.
from the man was a big problem, where the men acted in not so trustworthy ways. So you're kind of weighing like putting that aside or weighing their reactions in those two cases, like which one is actually the better partner. I can see that like Justine might have had a lot of sway because she was very involved in that one.
Totally.
And so again, we have a situation where the people who are outside of the house and their social dynamics that we don't see might have played a big
I
role.
think next season I would like a camera in the hotel to see what those people are doing,
Yes.
because I mean, I love all like everyone on the cast that didn't get to come into the house. Like they just were having so much fun at that hotel. And I would have loved to know what happened. I would have liked to have a camera in every room. I feel like there was another show
Oh
happening
my
Yes.
there.
God.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Production, hire
Like it's
Rachel.
such a
She
good
has some
idea.
ideas.
They just had such a good time.
Because they're like a lot of shows that seems like they're kept separate. They're like
Yes.
hanging
Well,
out.
after the pool party day, they allowed them to all see each
Okay.
other, because also like we had to stay there for a
Okay.
month. Like if you went in and out of the house, like everyone basically did, besides like me and Freddie, by the grace of God. We got in. It was so difficult, but I mean, I'm like, they deserve to have as much fun as they can while they're there.
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
isolating people completely for a
Bachelor
month
would just
would
send your ass home
have like
immediately.
psychological
Literally.
effects. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bachelor would be like, get out of here. And we saw in
Yeah.
Paradise, Susie's like at the
That night.
airport 5
Yes,
hours
you're
after.
literally rose ceremony
Yeah.
and you're home. Like it's you blink your eye.
Yeah, which we have been wishing they would keep people around a
Mhm.
little bit more, but yeah, then you have to entertain them,
Mhm.
you can't just
You have
isolate
to
them
feed
alone.
them.
You
Literally.
have to feed them.
Literally. And we got to have like an iPad too where we could like watch Netflix on it. So that was already like we did get to have some form of
Wait,
entertainment. Yeah,
stop.
it's so nice.
Stop. They allow you to watch TV, but only
We could
Netflix.
I think you could get Hulu maybe. But I only knew my Netflix password.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
that's so much more. That's like so
Yeah,
nice
it was nice, and you could
that you guys got to like actually have some entertainment, like go a little less
you could go to the
crazy.
pool with a
yeah.
handler. I did that before I came in, so it was like they treated us really, really well. Not that Bachelor doesn't, but Netflix really goes above and beyond.
That
Hmm.
makes
That's
me
amazing.
happy.
Wait, so I am curious, like, I don't know if you can talk about this because it seems like it's been very clamped down on, but we know that AD is not the only person from this season who found a relationship on the
Hmm.
show and is now expecting a child as a result. She has not been in the press tour to this point of taping allowed to talk
Hmm.
about it. Is that something that happened on camera at all, or is it something that happened like during this time when the singles were hanging
I
out?
actually don't know. Like, I would love to, and I'm
Okay.
excited to see everything that Hannah talks about, because I'm very excited as well to find out all the details. I'm sure. I mean, she has been one to not hold back. She's been carrying the season on her back, like talking about everything, like not holding back. So I'm excited to see what she has to say.
Do you know who the father of her child is?
Mm, I have an idea, but I don't know for sure.
And is it someone
Interesting.
who was with you guys?
I don't know. You're gonna have
You
to
don't
find out from
know.
Hannah.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
Okay, well
Oh
wait,
my
that's fair.
gosh.
She's allowed
Ah.
to break that news. What have you made of like the I think quite obviously false rumors that Ray is the father of Hannah's
I mean, why
child?
not? I don't, it's been a year. Like you literally never know. It could be right. And I'm the godmother.
That's
Okay,
I
okay, we
mean,
love that.
yeah. We really have no idea. What happened right after filming? Did you guys all stay and swim together? Did Lucy and Daniel leave like right away, or were you all
So
together?
we actually got to spend, it was 3 or 4 days all together in the hotel, because we had to do all of our like pictures and press because we couldn't see each other before. So we were together for a couple days, and then a group of people did also go to Cancun. Lucy and Daniel in that group. Um, I think she
Mhm.
does and will talk about like that trip and kind of where their relationship stands after that. But yeah, so we got to spend a couple days together.
Okay, so that was like an
Can you
extracurricular
yeah.
Yes,
thing that
they
you
got
guys were able to
yeah,
take.
but we had to be in the
Okay.
hotel for like a couple days after for press and shooting photos and things like that. Pickups,
That makes
yeah, I
sense.
think all that was happening for a couple days.
Did you go with them to
I was
Cancun?
going to, but then I just was like, this is an exhausting month. Like, I need to bed rot for a month with no one speaking to me. So I got all the updates and all the pictures, but from my bed in Studio City.
That's
Mhm.
so fair.
Yeah, that's a
So
lifestyle
valid.
Yes.
I can
Yeah.
really get
Yes.
behind. Um, so during this time post filming, I know it's not very much time that you guys were still in Tulum, but like what is it like when the cameras go down? Like there are all these couples that are leaving the show together in a sense, like we don't see them break
Mhm.
up. Were those relationships continuing to like be pursued after the cameras went down, or was there like a group that kind of just like dropped it and a group that kept working on
No,
it?
I think, I mean, for the most part, like me and Ray aside, because me and Ray were definitely not really a solid couple. Like, we were still like friends. But everyone was with their couple. Like, we all hung out. It was dramatic. Like, it was difficult just because I think people have a lot of things to say when a camera's not there. And those conversations were definitely happening. It was a lot. Like for me, I'm like, I just want to go home. Like I don't want to be involved in this. But I mean, I think it was a good thing for a lot of people to like say what they felt off camera and have all
Mm.
those conversations too. It was dramatic. I just yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, that sounds really
Yeah.
intense, actually. Like, now we can finally really talk about this. Like, was there any sense that connections that didn't fully happen during the show, that this was an opportunity for people to continue exploring, or was everyone kind of, like, over it at that point?
I mean, there's always gonna be that. I think I
Mm,
don't know.
okay.
Yeah, I'll let other people speak. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
let's focus on you. Did you and Ray ever pursue anything romantically after cameras went down?
No, we kind of stayed like exactly the way that people saw us on camera. And like to this day, we're still friends. Like literally we have such a good dynamic. But I think we both kind of knew that like we were more friends and it just always remained that way.
Okay, interesting. And was there anyone else that you had an interest in after filming?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I think definitely for sure. I did have a little bit of an interest after. But we'll see. We'll see.
Can you share who that interest
I
was
can't share.
in?
I think it could be. I think people can connect some dots. But yeah, no, definitely for sure.
Oh, no. What dots haven't I
I don't know.
connected?
I
Oh my
definitely think I had
gosh.
a connection I could have explored in the villa. Mhm.
Mhm, interesting. Has anyone from the show gotten a chance to see your crying wall?
Lucy has. Freddie's seen it. I think those are the only two so far. But yes, we need to add on to it. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're the
everyone needs
people
to
are
know.
waiting for
I
an update
know.
on the crying wall.
I've been trying to get it updated. I'm trying to figure out like if because it started off as like a brand deal actually with Mixed House, which is so funny. I was like, I don't even know if this is allowed, but now I'm like, I don't know if I want to do like different frames or like the way I want to style it. But we need
Yes, I feel like you need to like get like a bunch of
that's what
vintage, like
everyone's
very
saying.
serious looking frames and then
Like a
have still
gallery
production
because I need
stills.
to add all the
Yeah.
paradise this year. Like I'd like to update Kat and Jill, and then of course like the OG Bachelorettes. Like Trista wants to be on there. I need Jen Tran on there. So there's so many people we need to
Oh, I
add.
mean,
Yes,
yeah, I feel like you must have people like banging down your door like,
no,
"Rachel,
literally,
where am
literally.
I on the
I'm like,
crying wall?" I feel like you have to do the still of Jill with the bird
I
makeup
already have the picture
crying.
saved. I'm like,
Great.
I have so many options of her, but that
Oh,
one is
Jill.
like an iconic exit in a bird suit. Like I could never have asked for anything more for her. And she looked hot.
She did look
She's
so
good.
hot.
I'm sorry, this is all just it's giving art installation. Like, I don't know. I used to write up art exhibits on the HuffPost Arts and Culture team, and I'm just saying there's something here. Like, I think that could be the next step
I would like to see
in
it, like,
your
generally, I'm
journey.
like, I wanna see, like, college sorority houses doing this, like, this is such a funny idea, and, like, I love
It's
it. You
so
have to, like,
good.
lean into your worst moments, like, if you don't, like, no one will.
I really love it.
Exactly.
Okay, so we talked a bit about Freddie and
Mhm.
Madison in the first part of our interview. Can you share any insight on where they are at today?
Um, I know they're not together. I think they ended things pretty shortly after. I think just distance, like AD and Ollie really made it work, but I was actually very surprised because they seemed so into each other. Like even in the hotel, I think we saw them the least because they were kind of like
Oh,
in a honeymoon bubble. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would like to hear more from Madison. I know she doesn't really want to talk about this season, but yeah, I was very
Yeah.
shocked that they weren't together.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm, like, really curious about how all of these relationships
Mhm.
played out. I mean, we knew about AD and Ollie before we even knew anything else about the season, right?
Right.
But everything else is still kind of in the dark for us. And then Louis and Sandy seemed like they were in a pretty good space at the end, but of course it's Louis.
I
So
know, that's the thing though, but they were, like, so solid, and he had me fooled and everyone fooled,
yeah,
like, cause he was like, "I've changed. I'm different."
he had
yeah,
me
I was
fooled.
like, I thought they were
yeah,
up there, like, to win, like, they were solid the entire time. I thought he had, like, matured a lot, like, took ownership for the things he did. Yeah, it's disappointing. Um, and I would also like to hear seeing like I hear it individually, but I would like to hear what they have to say like to the public for why things ended.
Yeah, something that Louis has made headlines doing recently is that he has made some like very public appearances with Huda from Love Island season 7, and he did this while Perfect Match was
Mhm.
airing. How do you feel like a decision like that impacts the cast, given that you guys like are unable to speak to what's happening now until like a certain point?
Right. I hate that I like have to keep speaking of it just because like I keep seeing these headlines. It's like Rachel slams Louis. Like that is not the case. Like I'm so for Louis and Huda, and like I'm so happy for him, whatever he does. But it's obviously been a year. It's a long time. Netflix doesn't expect anyone to like not date. But right before we announce cast, they do ask that you like don't post or like archive things, don't post, and then just wait until it finishes. And it all comes out in like what 3 weeks. Paradise is like months long. I don't think it's a lot to ask of anyone, like especially in Hannah's case, where like she is going through a huge time in her life and like she can't share it. So it's just hard when obviously I think it was a great thing that AD and Ollie were spoiled because it gets people like, oh, I want to see their love story. Like they're a couple from the show, they're invested. But it's hard when multiple people are spoiled and it's like they're not even with someone from the show. Why would I watch this? I already know two couples don't work out.
yeah, that makes sense. It's at the same time, how many times is the red carpet for weapons going to be on the table as an opportunity? So you kind
You,
of have to,
you've
I know.
gotta,
It's like
you've simply
truly, I
gotta.
think the world is their oyster for Love Island. Like right now, it's obviously the biggest show on TV. Like she's gonna be on a way bigger carpet like in 2 weeks. I think it's super easy. And then also like people are invested in you, and then they see it doesn't work out with Sandy. Now they see this. Like it's another story to follow. I think he kind of just didn't think about anyone on the cast or how it would affect like the viewership or like
mm,
the way people watch it, which is okay. Like it's his life. That's the way he's gonna live it. I just feel for people like Hannah and people who can't share their big life updates.
Yeah, it's hard when that is not like
Mhm.
even among the whole cast because
yeah,
that is challenging to put those
yeah.
announcements on hold.
Do you have a sense of like how soon after filming Sandy and Louis kind of stopped seeing each other?
I don't know. I want to say they were still talking for a while. I know they also had some
Mm,
distance, but I know Lucy and Daniel was very quickly after. I think
really?
Louis and Sandy stayed in touch for a little while after.
So Lucy and Daniel are not together currently.
Did they go on their, like, special
No,
prize trip? No?
no. They ended in Cancun right after the show. Mhm.
Wow,
Wow.
okay.
Um, I mean, I can't say that I'm not happy for
I
Lucy,
know.
like, to be
I
perfectly
know. When
honest.
she
Yeah.
told me,
We
I
just
was like obviously not too surprised, but yeah, it's just hard because she's such an angel and like she deserves so much. And I'm like, at least get a trip out of
I think
it.
that's
Yeah.
what a lot of people were
Mhm.
seeing, to be honest, watching it back. Just like,
She
she
deserves the
deserves
world.
better. She deserves the world. She deserves better than this. And I think we were hoping, watching the finale, that she was able to extricate herself from that relationship without too
I
much
think people
pain.
will be really happy. Obviously, it's disappointing because they didn't get the trip or get to go on the trip. I would like to see it given to Adie and Ollie, like a baby moon or a post baby honeymoon type
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, that's a great
Yeah, I'm like,
idea.
I think it deserves to go somewhere. And Adie and Ollie, like,
Or what about give you and Lucy a
and
girls'
film
trip to
it. Yeah, I
Fiji?
know literally all of the
Yeah,
girls. Like,
yeah.
everyone is just so great. And yeah, it's kind of sad that the trip goes to waste, but
We honestly I think they don't even have to pay for the trip because most seasons, there's no one to really give the trip to,
didn't they
and
go last year?
the other option I think last
Yeah.
year they went.
They did go
Yeah.
last year.
But still 2 out of 3, I mean, it's not great. I think instead you could have the prize be like the woman in the couple gets to take her friends from the show on a girls' trip to recover from this relationship
Literally.
Yeah.
in 3
It's
months.
We're doing group therapy
no, genuinely,
abroad,
it's crazy
actually.
too, because watching back, I think this is the first season they've done it, but everyone being like, this is a game, strategy. I'm like, what is the prize? Because if I don't like you, I'm not going on this trip. Clearly, neither is Lucy. Like, why are we fighting for our lives? For what prize? Like, is screen time the prize? Like, I feel like, what are you guys saying? I'm watching this back. I'm like, I could be in the hotel in AC, like on my iPad. So where's the prize? And like, I'm very confused.
I
The
do think
prize
screen
really is
time is the
just
prize.
I
FaceTime.
really think so
Yeah.
too. And
It really
I'm like, you
is.
guys, like, I can't speak for everyone, but me and Justine talked about this. I'm like, we've been on shows before. Like, it'll really be okay if like you don't have 2 days on screen. Like, you can go on your iPad at the hotel. Like, that is a prize. Mhm.
Yes, and you can make a big impact
Yeah.
with your 2
Yes. So
days of screen time that
it's
you got.
difficult. I would have liked to see people take more risk. Again, like, I don't know if it is like, oh, we just want to stay, we want to win, but I'm like, there's no prize. So next season, I would like to see people switch around. I'm the only one who switched around all season, and I feel like it makes it look like I'm unserious. But I'm just like, I'm trying to find my perfect match. Like, who's the best fit for me? I won't know that if I just stay with one person.
So you feel like people were playing it safe in
Some
order to like
people,
project seriousness a
some
little
people,
bit.
like, I was really proud that like Madison put herself on the date. I know people are like upset about that. I'm like, why? Like,
I thought
I
it
thought
was
so too. I'm
awesome.
like, if I saw
Yeah.
Freddie on the board, I would have done the same thing. And she's taking risks. She knows her
Yeah.
connection isn't the one. Instead of just sticking it out, she's like really taking a risk. So I would have liked to see some people like switch, and then maybe you switch back. Like, you'll see them in a couple days. Like, at least give things a shot to really make sure that you're with the right person.
Yeah, no, that's really true, and I thought that, the backlash from the cast was interesting, that people started to be like, maybe Madison is not as deserving because of the way she switched up on
Mhm.
Cody. Was there, like, pressure of that kind in the villa, that it was seen as bad by other people in the house to maybe switch out your
I
partner?
don't know. Like, I came in after all that. So I had only known Madison as like Freddie's
Mm,
partner. And I think after she was Freddie's partner, like, there really wasn't much more that happened. But yeah, it just felt like the vibe of like, even when I walked in on the first day, that it was like, we've been here for a month. And I'm like, isn't it day 4? Like, I don't know. And I think a lot of people who came into the house say the same thing. It was just really difficult to get to know people who were already in a couple.
Yeah. No, I think that happens on a lot of dating shows,
Yeah,
honestly.
we need to start taking risks again. I think people are also like, even me, like, I faced a lot of like horrific things online, like really bad things said about me. You don't want to come off as a villain. So I think in a lot of ways, social media too has maybe ruined it a bit because people don't want to be like executed. Like, Madison's been getting death threats, like, because she put herself on a date. Like, I just can't understand it, but it does happen. So I understand too people's mindset.
I do understand that. I think that the tenor of fan reaction has become
Worse. Yeah.
so
Mhm.
toxic
Mhm.
that it really is going to inevitably shape the way that people then behave on the show. And you want people to be a little bit messy because that's the fun. That's why you have a
Right. Like
show.
me and Nick were talking about like old season of Paradise where people just went wild and it was such good TV. And I think once social media started really coming into play, that kind of all changed.
Something that you talked about on the Vile Files was that there was, of course, the big Netflix reality
Yeah.
event, and the cast was all brought
Yeah.
back together. Was there any intrigue, any drama that came out of that
I mean,
reunion?
there was a lot of drama. Like, I feel like I'm the only one talking on it. And then everyone's like, Rachel Recchia said this. Like, I was just observing my surroundings. Like, a lot happened. Maybe we need a reunion. I don't know. There's a lot that went on. Yeah.
Yeah, I want a reunion. Wait, so was this drama more of the variety of, like, people getting into it again about, like, conflict, or was it more, like, hooking up,
All of the above,
flirting,
I
like,
think. All of the
oh,
above.
okay.
This literally quote again. Me just starting. I'm stirring the pot. Have 9 quotes. Yeah, I'm trying to get a
Us
reunion. Yeah.
weekly. Honestly, give
You're
us a
doing work.
reunion. I'd die
I
for
know
a
it would be
reunion.
nice.
If you got a reunion, would you speak on anything that happened to you specifically at this event? Were you involved in anything?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Netflix, please. We need the reunion. She won't tell us
I know.
anything.
I know.
So have you, maybe you don't want to say who, but have you been seeing anyone recently?
So I'm single, like technically in all sense, but no, I definitely have been like interested to see where things go with someone. So that's been like really nice and exciting. Especially after like having such a hard time on the show. It's been good to like, have something to be excited about and see where it goes.
And do you think that that is something you will share publicly at some point if it progresses?
Maybe. Obviously it's like hard being in my position because once you talk about something, it like will never go away. Like people will be asking those questions for years. So I think just like taking it one step at a time. Like, cause we're not dating. Like that's,
Got it.
it's just very new. Yeah. I am
Okay, don't worry.
single.
Headline: Rachel Recchia is
Yes.
single.
This may be your last chance to slide into
I'm
her DMs,
literally
though,
better
so
take
you
it.
never
I'm just
know.
kidding.
Yeah, you've got to.
Note to the 10
Yeah.
men who listen to this
Yeah,
podcast.
Seriously.
they're out there.
They
Okay.
have to be.
So you're not probably going to want to tell us whether this person is related to the reality TV universe at
Definitely
all.
in the reality TV universe.
But
Mhm.
okay,
I
you're really
know.
teasing us
I know.
here, Rachel.
I wish.
No, that's fair. I understand. I feel like you would. I would definitely never want to speak on a relationship if anyone was paying
I
attention
know.
to
I think
it.
I
So
still
you got to protect
genuinely like.
something.
I still get questions about Blake. We're friends. So I'm like, if God forbid I put anything into this world, like I will never hear the end.
Okay,
Not
not
Blake.
Blake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taking notes. Not Blake. So, looking back on this whole perfect match experience, you've now been on like 4 dating reality shows, 3 bachelor shows, perfect match. Which experience was the best for you, or like the most enjoyable experience?
It's hard because like each thing has its benefits and like downfalls. I loved Perfect Match. Like truly that is an experience I am so grateful I got to have. But obviously Bachelorette, just because me and Gabby, like we had the best time. And like even though the men were torturing us for 2 months straight, like me and her,
It's
like
true.
it was just an experience I will never forget. And I feel so honored to have stood next to her and been able to be a Bachelorette. So I have to always say that.
Do you guys
were
still
so
see each
iconic.
other in
We
LA?
see each other here and there, but I think, like she has just been killing it in her own way. And like, yeah, I've just been so proud of her. Like, I will always just be like Gabby Whitney's #1 fan.
Yes,
I
we're
know,
so
I love
Gabby
her.
fans. I love that. That season was really so good, honestly.
It
Like
was
it
so
was
bad. It
horrible
was
in
so
terms of the
bad to
emotional
watch.
suffering, but like getting both of you guys on our screens every night, that was really good.
That was
'cause
the
we loved you
treat. Yeah,
both so
watching
much.
you two was the treat. The
I
men
know.
were
I just only
present.
wish,
They were
like, I wish
there.
they would have really just let me and Gabby just like have fun and like be ourselves. I felt like it was a lot of like negativity on me especially, but also on Gabby, and like they were focusing a lot on the bad parts. I think it could have been a really good season if it was like girl power. So maybe if they ever did it again, they could change that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are looking for
I
friendship.
know.
That's
And then
always
we
the
could
ad
just like
campaign.
forget that there's like a man there who did like blackface in high school. Like we didn't
My
need
God,
that.
sometimes
Yeah.
that will pop back up in my memory, and I'm like, did that actually
Right?
happen?
Can you believe?
The
It's
shit show
nightmare.
of that ending of that show. It has to be unmatched.
True
Us and
nightmare
Jen
Yeah.
fuel.
Tran, horrific.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my God. Yeah. There have been some really tough ones. And then at the beginning, it's all like girl power. We're gonna have so much fun. And then within like 3
You're
episodes,
like, and
it's
now you've
just
destroyed these
crying
women.
Literally,
women.
men jumping ship, men leaving. Crazy, like really bad experience
Yeah.
in that way. And like my self-esteem took a hit for years, but like the experience of it, I feel also lucky to have.
And I feel like we did get to see you grow. Like it was a treat to see you on this show seem just so much more like self-assured and able to really like have fun without so much pressure on
Yeah.
yourself. So,
Yeah.
you know, parasocially, it's been lovely to watch you grow
No,
over
thank
the
you. I think
years.
even with like Paradise, I'm like, I still always felt that like Bachelorette, like reputation and the way I acted in a perfect match, like especially after the Clayton stuff, I really just got to run free and do whatever I wanted. So it was really nice to like reinvent myself or like be more myself in that way.
Yeah, you did say on Vile Files that like no one had watched your season or
But
Clayton's
Sandy,
season, really, right? Like no one knew the lore,
Sandy,
But
only
Sandy.
Sandy.
Sandy did. And it's
That's
actually
wild.
crazy. Like this is tea. Sandy knows the girl that my fiance cheated on me with. So she really knew the lore of like my season. Yeah. So it was like crazy. She's like, oh my God, she's my
Oh my
friend. I'm like,
God.
she's so beautiful. Like this poor girl got put through it too. Like it was a crazy like coincidence that she knew her.
Wait,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Wow.
You're like, please let your friend know. Thank you ultimately
No,
for saving
genuinely.
me
And she's like,
from.
she wanted nothing to do with it. She had no idea. I'm like, believe me, I know. Like, I know I feel so bad. But that was like crazy when she told
Oh
me.
my
Yeah.
God. Wow. So she like truly, you showed up and everyone else was like, who are you? And she's like, I know
She
your
knows the
soul. Like, I
ins
know
and
everything
outs. She
about
knows
you.
probably things I don't know. Like, really. Yeah.
Wow.
Because we were laughing as like bachelor first people watching Netflix being like, oh, no one is aware of the lore here.
Yeah.
They
It's
don't.
like we live in a bubble where this was like major
I
headline
know.
news for
I showed
months.
them in the hotel because I kept telling them, like, you guys don't understand. Like, they made 2 bachelorettes after how bad that went. Like, so I showed them all like on the iPad, like the rose ceremony from hell. And they're like, that's you. And I'm like, yep, I'm on the stairs. Like they had no idea how bad it was. I'm like, this is one of
Yeah,
2
your cries
breakups.
are like echoing throughout that cavernous
No, no
building.
nail, no eyelash, Chipotle napkin, trying to hide my face. Like that was actually like one of the craziest days of my life. So
Yeah. No, the reaction on Perfect Match was actually nothing
I
compared to
know. I'm
that.
like, you
That
guys should
was
see how hard I can go. That was me on easy mode.
yeah, this is
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're like,
this is
most
me
people I've
before my
seen
morning
really
literally,
coffee.
wail.
literally wailing.
So if you were to do another reality show in the future, would you do another dating show? Is there another kind of show you would like to
Um,
try?
never dating again. I think I really was done. Like after Paradise, this was just such a crazy opportunity. Like, and the first of its kind that they've ever pulled from other shows. So I had to be part of it. But I definitely think I would do something maybe more competition. I know that's such like an easy answer, but like if it was presented in front of me and it was a good fit, I would think about it for sure.
What kind of competition
I mean,
show?
I don't know. I mean, people saw me eat the crickets. I think I could be good in a competition show.
No, you
I
killed
went
it.
at those
I was
crickets.
so
Yeah, watching that
impressed.
back, I
Yeah.
could not believe my eyes of what I just was doing.
I was like, Rachel ran over there and the crickets were just already stuck
Right?
in her
Picked
mouth.
up
Like,
the
my God,
thing.
you went for it.
Because I thought it was going to get worse. I thought that was easy. So I was like, I'm getting the easiest thing on this table. And then it turns out that was the hardest. But it really
was the
wasn't that bad.
worst.
It
Yeah.
really-
At least they were
They were
salty.
champions.
yeah,
It
but the
seemed.
churros after the churro mixing in, because I hadn't fully chewed the cricket, like it was really, really bad. Like it was disgusting.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good for
okay.
you.
So
Okay.
I'm less familiar with with non-dating reality shows, but I'm like, I don't know. What's
It
a
often does
competition
involve
show?
eating salted cricket. I mean, The Traitors.
The Traitors, I think you would be incredible
I
on. We
think I
have
would not
seen
be.
Bachelor people.
I
Really?
just like I feel like I'm too nice. Like I'd be like, listen, I'm a traitor. Like I don't know. Like I just don't think I have
No,
that
I
in
don't
me.
think.
Like that kind of a thing.
See, I
Yeah.
don't think you should be a traitor, but I think you could
Yeah.
be a good
Yeah,
faithful.
maybe.
I don't think you'll be picked to be a traitor because they do not want to pick someone who would confess
Like I would
immediately.
be the worst. But yeah, like something like that I think I would consider for sure.
Yeah, there are these other like Battle
Battle
Camp,
Camp got
like the
canceled
Netflix is starting to
actually.
do more
Ooh.
of these.
Yeah.
Oh, did
Yeah,
it?
that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, that I enjoyed it,
But I think it
honestly.
leaves
But
room
this
for
is the
more.
sort of show that you can,
Yeah.
yeah, just
So
like
when we see you on Squid Game, the
No,
challenge.
literally. I feel like then there'll be a whole new me. Like people have only seen me in the dating context. So that would be cool.
But so in the year since you filmed and like looking ahead, what are you up to? Like have you been piloting at all? Like are you influencing? Like are you looking into more entertainment stuff? Like what's
Yeah, I
going
feel like
on?
I've just kind of been doing like the same things I've been doing, like flying a lot, traveling a lot. Like that's my daily life. Like I'm always on the go. So it's just been like going back to the things I love. I think there is a big misconception of people being like, she doesn't fly. And like it's kind of hard to, also post because you're like flying a plane. Like I try my best to post when I can. But yeah, no,
I mean,
flying.
personally, I would prefer my pilots to do less
I know.
posting and more
I know it.
paying attention to the
Genuinely.
skies.
I feel like the male pilots of Bachelor Nation like to post wearing their pilot costumes and being like, "Here I am, I'm
Costumes.
Pilot Pete." They're all named Pete.
Genuinely.
Their
Yeah, and I don't
uniforms.
work in the airlines. I still do like general aviation stuff. And I do
Right.
also have, on top of the fact that like I've been on a lot of reality TV shows. So I think already I'm a woman and there's that. So people, I don't want to, on top of it, be like, selfie, like taking, I try to be a little bit professional, but I do still fly. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a really good point. As someone who gets very uncomfortable being seen taking a selfie, I'm like, yeah, I probably wouldn't want
Right.
to do that either. So that makes a lot of sense. I love that. That sounds like a really good flow
Yeah,
that
it's
you're
great.
in, and you're seeing someone. You won't tell us who. Maybe one day we'll
Maybe.
find out.
It's fine. We'll just privately
Yeah.
speculate. Don't worry about it. But truly, this has been such a joy to
Thank
have you on. We
you.
would love to have you back. You don't have to talk about yourself next time.
Gossip
You
about
could
someone else.
just rag on
Yes.
on other people with us. But thank you so much for doing this. We really
Thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
me. You guys are so much fun. I'm so glad I got to do this.
All right. Well, she's keeping her cards close to the vest.
She is, and we respect that. Even as, professional gossip mongers, we always want more.
Yeah, I'm curious. We are recording this on Friday, and we recorded our interview with Rachel even earlier. So by the time this drops, there's probably more out there. I am frustrated for future me that we are
Same.
recording this and we don't know what else has come out. But we're going to go off of what we have as of today. And to be honest, there's like a lot of info about what has happened. We've talked about before briefly on the show that we obviously know Louis is no longer with Sandy because he has been publicly out with Huda Mustafa from Love Island. We know from the finale and from this discussion with Rachel that Lucy and Daniel did not last very long after the end of the show filmed at all. I actually like what she said was very like it sounds like what actually happened was more than a fizzle. I am really curious
I
to know what
agree.
actually went down.
I mean, what it sounds like to me, and even in the show postscript, it says a few weeks later. It sounds like it was maybe even sooner than that, like 2 weeks.
Yeah, she says they all went, or a number of people from the cast just chose to go on a trip to Cancun.
Right after.
Something happened on that trip.
By the end of that trip, Lucy and Daniel were kind of done for good. So that feels like those arguments that we saw ratcheted up again.
And this is like
And-
Rachel's account also that what we saw from Daniel was only
Part of it.
part of it. And that makes sense because they won the show. So even though, by the time they're editing this, they were no longer together, they maybe didn't necessarily want to have the season end with a really disastrous looking couple winning. And they were trying to maybe smooth the edges off a little bit. But it
Yeah,
sounds
that's
like it was just
possible.
constant.
It's also the kind of thing where you simply can't air like so many hours of a fight, right? They're juggling a lot of different storylines. Plus, of course, Lucy and Daniel won. And so I think all of those things probably contributed to the fact that we only saw a fraction of
Yeah.
his more unsavory behavior. And even from that fraction, I think you and I felt very disturbed watching it back. So I can only imagine what it was like for Lucy and what it was like for her closest friends to be watching that all play out and also be like, have all of their actions guided by the anticipation of Daniel's reactions. I thought it was super telling that Rachel said that Daniel hated her.
Yeah, that is really interesting. Like, if your partner doesn't want you to be close to your friends, if they're suspicious of your friends, if they hate your friends or distrustful of them, 9 times out of 10, that is a big red flag. And
Giant,
in such a
giant
short
waving red
period of
flag.
time, to form this relationship and be like, and now your best friend that you also like just
Just
became
met.
close with on this show, like, I don't trust her. It sort of gives I don't like that she has your best interests at heart. I don't like that she's going to try to protect you from some of this or that she might try to protect you from what's going on in our relationship. That is definitely a very unsettling sign, and it does also, I think, give a lot of context to Rachel's decision in the boardroom not to send Lucy on a date. Like, in my mind, at the time, I was like, I understand her not wanting to have a fight with her friend, but, like, Lucy would not be choosing to go on the date, so wouldn't that give a little cushioning to any conflict with Daniel? Like, someone else is sending her on a date, like, why would he be mad at her for that? And when she said that, it becomes clear that, like, oh, he would see that as Rachel and Lucy in cahoots, like, scheming against him, or
Exactly.
that was how Rachel felt at the time.
I mean, that really clarified things for me. And personally, if there was an extremely angry large man stomping around the house that we all share, I also wouldn't want to get into it with him and then watch my closest friend get into it with him and have to like suffer the emotional consequences of my decision,
Yeah.
especially when, as she said, she kind of knew that they were always going to come back to each other regardless. And they were days away from ending filming.
Right, and it just kind of needed to run its course,
Yeah. Yeah. And I also
unfortunately.
like good for Lucy, frankly, for extricating herself what sounds like fairly quickly after filming ended.
Yeah, I think that was definitely maybe there was a sense that, like, "Oh, this is on a show, dramatic things happen, like, there are oversized reactions. When we get in the real world, I'm going to sort of start applying the standards that I normally apply. I'm going to start, like, really scrutinizing this relationship." Maybe that's what happened. Maybe it just didn't hold up in the real world under real world standards. Because she says several times, like, "I
Yeah.
would not tolerate this in the real world."
I know. And I'm very curious, and I'm sure by the time this drops, there will be more out there, like from Lucy's perspective directly.
Yeah, I hope she gets a good sit down to talk about this because there has been like a lack of insight from her up to this point, which makes sense because on the show they're building towards a Lucy and Daniel win. They, as far as the public knows, they're still together. She can't sit down and talk about their toxic dynamic like Clayton and Rachel could. So hopefully there's going to be more from her soon. I think it's like it left me also with questions about like it sounds like AD and Ollie had a different and more pleasant dynamic in the house,
Yeah.
and I think at a certain point in the season, it started to feel to me like they had very similar dynamics in their relationship, and I was like, "Am I being too soft on Ollie and AD?" Or, Ollie, more specifically, because I know that they're together, because I know that they're having a baby. And because I wanted them to be together so much. Meanwhile, Daniel, I don't give a flying F about, and he seems like a dick, so I'm out. But it seems like from what we are hearing from Rachel that the edit might have, like, sort of focused on a relatively small part of AD and Ollie's relationship because of the
Right.
conflict and the drama, whereas with Daniel and Lucy, they actually had to, like,
Cut it
cut
down.
it down in order to, like so they're, like, balancing the narratives a little bit for maximum, like, drama, and also maybe you can believe in this couple, and you end up with 2 relationships that seem more similar than they are, and I hope that's the
Yeah.
case because AD and Ollie are still together, and I really want them to be okay and to
That's the
not
thing.
have a bad dynamic.
I do too. I'm really rooting for them. I also think that AD has a pretty good head on her shoulders, and I always try to trust women when they make choices for themselves that they tell us are good. And I'm like, I'm not in your
Yeah.
relationship, so I'm going to take that at face value until, we learn or see or hear otherwise.
Yeah, and something we do get to see on the show is AD kind of drawing certain boundaries and saying, "I'm
Absolutely.
not gonna take this from you," and what we see from Lucy is that she has just a different temperament. It's not, like, worse, it's just different. She wants to really read what Daniel is saying to her very generously. She wants to take the best interpretation of his words. She wants to examine herself and be like, have I really been the one at fault here? So she ends up like internalizing that she is at fault in certain situations where she's not really at fault. And then we don't ultimately see her doing much line drawing beyond saying like it's really messed up that you fucked around at the boys' day. You wouldn't have tolerated that from me, but then they immediately get back together.
I do think it's notable, though, that like the first thing we hear her say at that perfect match selection is that there is a double standard based on gender for behavior.
Yeah,
So clearly
she
that is top
knows.
of mind for her. She's aware.
And the reality is she did clearly draw a line. It just
Well,
happened after
exactly.
filming. What we see is, like, within these conflicts, AD is drawing those lines very
In real
clearly and being
time.
like, "You're not going to speak to me that way. Like, you need to examine your behavior and the disrespect you've shown me." And maybe that is, like, what is needed in their relationship is, like, some of that, like, push-pull,
Yeah.
because obviously some of the ways that Ollie was behaving,
We
are
didn't love.
not something that should be tolerated.
I
Um,
completely agree.
yeah, it was interesting to find out who Rachel voted for. Not surprised given
I am not either. I sort of assumed that she had voted for AD and Ollie, but
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to ask.
It does seem like maybe just the people who were out of the house more and saw less of the fighting probably thought that Daniel's indiscretions during Boys' Day were less meaningful than Ollie, like, leading Justine, their friend, on
Yes.
during this
I think that
matching,
really explains it.
because it seems like a lot of the people in the house got a better sense of the dynamic of those relationships.
Yeah. I also found it really notable that Rachel felt like Madison and Freddie were so strong the whole time. I also thought it was really interesting that they were like still in that love bubble right after filming. So I
Yeah.
am curious to hear more from them what happened and why they didn't stay together. They've both spoken about each other, like in at least in the media we've seen them both do very generously and affectionately.
Yeah.
Freddie was on the Vile Files and he spoke about how amazing Madison was with him and how much he wanted to give that relationship a chance to develop. And he talked about feeling gutted about when he watched Madison's season. Obviously they filmed this in September and Madison's season of Love is Blind aired in February afterwards. And he said he was gutted because he really wanted to see her portrayed in the way that he had experienced her. And
Yeah.
that, obviously brought out a different side of her personality and also just like the dynamics were really different on that show. But overall, the way he spoke about her seems like he has a lot of respect for her. And, I've seen Madison respond to comments on like the videos she made about Cody where people are being like, "Oh my God, I panicked and thought this was about Freddie at first." And she responded like, "Freddie would never." So,
Yeah.
it does seem like they aren't together anymore as far as, Rachel told us, but it doesn't feel like there's animosity there, at least from what we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that it is really hard to make these relationships from these big shows work unless
Yeah.
you're both planning to move to Los Angeles.
Right.
And even then, like, you have to be planning to move to Los Angeles and also kind of be like, we're soulmates, because otherwise you're like two hot young things and you live 3,000 miles apart across an ocean. It's really hard to make that work. Freddie's going back to his job, Madison's going back to hers. He has really intense family commitments and like a desire to be near his family in Manchester. She has got her own stuff going on. Like, you might say like, "Oh, I would love to move to England," but it's actually really hard to get your relationship to a point where it's ready for you to move from
100%
Minnesota
to
to
Manchester.
Manchester. So like it does make a lot of sense that that just wouldn't hold
Yeah,
up.
I
Like
agree.
the breakdowns would occur that don't necessarily have to be like,
Right. Think about like anyone who met and one person was from Minnesota and the other person's from Manchester. Like you wouldn't be surprised to hear that a few months down the road the
yeah.
relationship ended because it just the logistics were too
I mean,
difficult.
like, a
So,
year later, she's clearly not living in Manchester, and, like, again, he's very, like, in
connected to
his
his
connected to
family.
his family,
Yeah, like
connected to his life there, so it
yeah, it's
does
not
kind of,
that
yeah, it doesn't need to
surprising.
be acrimonious for that to have not worked out. Yeah, maybe we'll hear more about what happened now that the show has all
Yeah.
aired.
I also was interested to hear that Sandy and Louis, it makes sense that they're not together, but from what I got from what Rachel said to us, it felt like there also isn't really animosity there.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's seems reasonable
Yeah.
because like, again, his final card to her was not like, "I can't wait to build a relationship outside of this." It was, "I hope we'll always be okay." And so that was kind of like the highest promise of their relationship was like, "Hopefully we'll keep hanging out." And it sounds like they kept hanging out. It sounds like they kept in touch and like maybe they were sort of romantically involved for a while, but not necessarily in an exclusive or serious way. And that kind of seemed like the level that their relationship was meant to be at.
I agree. Also, I listened to the first part of Sandy's interview on the Vile Files that came out recently. And the way she talked about Louis, it just seemed like she had a really level head about the whole experience. Like she understood they were not in a committed relationship. She understood they were exploring this relationship within the context of a reality show. And she sort of set her expectations based on that. And
Yeah.
so, and I think that, she brought up a couple times the fact that Louis was honest with her about Boys Day. And
Mhm.
so it feels like maybe she was able to maintain that level head and that feeling of mutual respect because when there were transgressions, they were talked about fairly quickly. And also, she witnessed, people like Daniel handle things in a much worse way. So you probably feel like pretty good, especially if you're
Right.
looking at the relationships and thinking, well, that person is way more locked in and possessive than the dynamic in my relationship. And like they behaved in a way more disrespectful way.
Yeah. One thing that like I find fascinating is how like the fact that these are all like reality TV professionals at this point kind of plays into how the show unfolds. I think we see probably fewer lasting relationships in part because they're geographically very scattered, right? Because they're
Yeah.
pulling from international shows. But also because I think a lot of them come in with the attitude that Sandy clearly had, and that Ollie has basically said he came in with and he got like surprised by like a bolt of love from the blue. But like, I'm just gonna go in, I'm gonna fuck around. I'm going to try to find someone to couple with through the end and like make the most of this experience, try to win, try to be solid, try to make TV. And not necessarily like when you compare that to how even Juliet handled things with Scott, she's really like, I don't know if I can marry a 23-year-old, like, I don't know if this is my partner. And I don't actually think that Sandy took Louis as seriously because of his age, also. Like, there was to me a
Yeah.
sense of like, this is not like someone who is going to like be ready for certain forms of commitment in a certain time. And maybe she doesn't even want that, but the sense that, like, this is clearly intended to not be such a serious relationship because he is at that life stage seems to me to be kind of baked into that, but it's like it didn't matter. It didn't matter because they had a good connection. They were having a great time through the whole experience. They were building like a good bond. It didn't have to be more than that for them to stay until the end, have
You're so
fun,
right.
and potentially win the show. They didn't end up winning the show, but they could have won the show on that basis.
And they probably honestly would have had a great fucking time going on a vacation together.
Right.
Like they
Like a
seem
better
to
time than
genuinely
Lucy and
enjoy each
Daniel.
other.
Yeah,
Exactly.
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 That's not
And
like a bad way to go into this because it is the
no.
job. Like, you're gonna meet a bunch of people from around the world that's gonna be very hard to make a relationship work with. They're very good at romancing people, making you feel like the hottest person they've ever seen. Ultimately, though, it's unlikely to result in a long-lasting relationship. So, like, you might as well just find someone you really like and you're really attracted to and, like, coast the wave as well as you can.
Also, I was reminded that Sandy was just coming out of a very long-term relationship. The ultimatum
Yeah.
had not even aired yet, which also
Right.
contextualizes some
Oh,
of
yeah.
her feelings about JR, like that inherent comfort. They had lived together for almost a month. So it
Yeah.
makes sense why she would be drawn to him, but also not necessarily feel like she needed to jump into a relationship with him.
It must also it contextualizes for me that, like, when JR brings up, like, "Oh, I never saw you as a babysitter," or, people being like, "Oh, well, he's so young, Louis is so young, how could you take him seriously?" She's like, "I dated a 4-year-old, like, age is just a number." But truly, she's coming right out of a relationship with a 40-year-old who is putting a lot of pressure on her to, like, get married and move
Yeah.
out to a farm and start having kids. So, probably exactly what she needed was a 23-year-old who definitely wasn't ready for any of that.
Right, who wasn't putting any pressure on her, who was like hot and fun and like respectful enough of her and who
Mhm.
she was within the context of this experience. Like, yeah, I was so aware of the timeline when it came to the various seasons of Love is Blind, but I honestly was thinking less about the ultimatum.
Yeah. That's
Um,
wild to come right out of that situation with JR and Nick
I know.
and get
I
to just,
know.
like, date and make out with
I know. I was like, I
Louis.
get it. That makes so much
No, that's
sense.
perfect, actually.
I really adore Sandy. She just seems awesome.
No, she is kind of aspirational to me. I think I've said this before. Like, she really knows what she wants, and she, like, kind of asserts it and goes after it in a way that feels very, like, appropriate,
And there's
like
like a self-assuredness, right? Like
exactly.
a feeling of like, well, I know who I am and I know what I want and I know the things that I can and cannot tolerate. And that might be different depending on the situation. It's just, yeah,
Yeah,
it is admirable. And we did see her draw lines with Louis when she wanted to and needed to. And so like
100%.
I really enjoyed watching her. The last thing that I want to talk about before we wrap up is I want us to be able to speculate about who Rachel is chatting with. She
I
was so
know.
coy. I tried like 5 times. I was like, maybe now? Maybe now? Do you want to tell us? Do you want to tell? No. No,
Yeah,
we respect boundaries. I totally understand. This clearly, whoever she's chatting with, it is not like a serious relationship. And I too would not want, every person I casually dated or like had interest in to be like splashed across
you wouldn't
tabloids
wanna
forever.
appear at the red carpet premiere of Weapons with them so that everyone immediately knew that you were involved?
I mean, it's a choice.
It's a choice. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. It's certainly in her position. Because then you're also, like, putting the other person in a weird position,
Right.
like,
And
you're kind
also,
of
yeah, she's
revealing
right.
their
Then every podcast like ours, you go on for the next 5 years, you're going to be asked about it and like,
right,
how did
what
that play
happened?
out?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
my best guesses from what she said is that she's either chatting with Carrington or Freddie.
I could derive, like, nothing from what she said because she was so cagey.
No, but she
She said
said
it was in the reality TV
she
world.
also said someone that I maybe didn't have a chance to really explore my relationship with
That's true.
on the
Yeah.
show. That's my best guess. And I'm
So
like,
not Ray.
right. So not Ray. She did. And she also said that they are still friends.
Yes.
Freddie and
Not
Carrington to
Clayton, it
not
sounds
Clayton.
like.
That is,
Well, because
I
as
think
we
that's
know
been
and
deaded.
That's been
Dead
said.
and done.
And we know that Clayton put out a statement on his Instagram the
About
other
his gym
day
schedule?
to clarify that, quote, I don't need to share every hobby with a partner, but I found, parentheses, within the last couple of years, that weightlifting is a non-negotiable for me in a relationship. Weightlifting is a non-negotiable
It's a
for me.
lifestyle.
I will be working out well into my 70s and likely until I cannot physically lift anymore.
I mean,
want
good
to
for you. That's great for your bone density.
I want to share that part of my life with someone else and be one of the gym couples people see around. Now, this statement is so funny to me because he's totally right. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's so different from I actively don't want to be one of those gym couples people see
Same.
around. And I made those choices. He gets to make those choices. But to
100%.
be like, I'm sorry, weightlifting is just a non-negotiable for me.
What it is just
It's just
Clayton's
funny.
very classic earnestness and the way
Yeah.
that he says these things with like not a tinge of irony
The
or
irony
or
is-
like or there's no jokiness, there's no cheekiness. It's just like, I'm sorry. This is what it is. I need to be a gym couple. And
No,
you know what? I love that for him.
100%. That is totally, and I think everyone's reaction was like, "That's fine, Clayton.
That's
It's
fine,
fine." And he's
bro.
like, "No, you don't understand. The thing is that weightlifting is non-negotiable. It's not that I'm like have a problem with." And we're like, "No, we got it. We got it. You have different hobbies." Anyway, okay. So clearly, it's not Clayton. It's not Ray. I think you're right that Freddie and Carrington seem like the most likely options.
Just because those are the people she saw have some interest with, but the relationships didn't really form. She also said Freddie has seen her crying wall.
Yeah, and like not a lot of people have seen her crying wall. So
I mean, who can say? I also will say that I've seen some very compelling speculation about a recent photo that was taken of Freddie where there was like a woman's shadow clearly taking the photo in it.
Yeah.
And people did point out that Lucy took a photo in like a nearly identical spot.
where were those photos taken? Are they like in LA
think
right
in
now?
LA.
So maybe it's also possible that they're all kind of just like hanging out while they're in LA doing
this is the
press
thing.
and stuff.
All of these things could mean absolutely nothing because
Right,
friends
yeah.
are allowed to enter
You
each
know
other's
what's gonna
apartments
happen?
and take photos.
By the time this drops, everyone will have come out and announced who they're dating, and we're gonna look like idiots.
Well,
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine. As I said, this is Friday Emma talking.
Yeah, Friday, Emma and Claire were so innocent. We have no idea. Is there anything else that we want to touch on about the finale and Rachel's insights? I think that that was
I think
those
that
were the
covers
most
it for
juicy
me.
pullouts for me.
I'm just grateful to Rachel for her time. She
Yes.
is so absolutely lovely and generous with her insights. And it was just such a blast to have her on the show.
Absolutely. And selfishly, I hope she does go on another show because, like, I always love seeing her. She's such a lovely, sweet person. And we
I
knew we
know.
would love her because she's besties with Jill. And she still surpassed my expectations. Wonderful, wonderful time. And on that note, that's it for this episode of Love to See It with Emma and Claire. Thanks so much to our guest, Rachel Recchia.
Love to See It is a presentation of Odyssey. The show is produced by us, Claire Fallon and Emma Gray. This episode was edited by John Bahar. Our theme music is by Tamar Hafeeb, and our art is by Aaron Nestor.
If you like the show, please follow us, rate us 5 stars, leave a review, and of course, tell all of your friends about our show.
If you want to get in touch, you can email us at claireandemmapod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on TikTok at Love to See It Pod and Instagram at Claire and Emma Pod. You can find our newsletter, Rich Text, on Substack at claireandemma.substack.com.
I'm also on Blue Sky at Emma Gray and on Instagram at Emma Lady Rose.
And I'm at Claire E. Fallon. Special thanks to the team at Odyssey, Eric Donnelly, Kate Rose, Moira Curran, Melissa Wester, and Hillary Shub.
We'll be back tomorrow with a recap of Bachelor in Paradise.
Can you